Film Dive Podcast.
And then it's just sequel after sequel after sequel.
There was no character development at all.
Just on pure technical levels.
There are filmmakers that don't want it just to be an entertainment experience.
Hello and welcome to Film Dive Podcast. Well, we're doing another director series. Today, you've decided...
Tim Burton.
Ooh.
My childhood in a package.
Yes, Tim Burton. My childhood to a certain degree as well.
He grew up in Burbank, right in the mix of the Hollywood scene.
Yeah, right.
But his words are, even though he was right in the middle of all the studios, where all the studios are in LA, he said he felt like he was miles away.
Is that because he didn't connect with it, or...?
I guess that the people who live in Burbank, there is that separation between those that work in Burbank, in all the studios there, and the people that live in Burbank. His experience was there was that distance from the general public to the studios themselves.
Oh, so it was almost like a separate world.
Yeah.
That's really
it
strange.
Kind of felt like, well, that's how he said it felt growing up.
Wow.
And he was a bit of an outsider, as you'd expect. Someone like a lot of creative types are outsiders. I was an outsider to a degree when I was growing up.
Yep.
But he loved to draw. He loved to create stuff.
That's what I connect with him, is the drawing in the creative side of that, you know.
Moving on, he studied at Cal Arts, which is Disney's school.
Recruiting.
Yeah. It's a recruiting mechanism where you can go study.
Sounds lovely, doesn't it? Wish I had that, opportunity to do that. God.
I looked one day, out of interest, how much it'll cost to go to Cal Arts. You don't want to know. I don't remember. It was too much.
Really?
Yeah. Might have got a scholarship or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah. Then he managed to get a job at Disney, which he hated. He was no good. They kept telling him to draw the Disney style, to animate the Disney way, and he couldn't do it.
Yeah.
There's stories of him sleeping underneath his desk and in wardrobes and stuff because he'd just come to work and just try and disappear.
Avoid it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so funny. Because, such a different style. Look at his...
It is. It's very different.
Which is awesome because that's probably the thing I don't like about Disney. I mean, the old animation. I mean, we grew up loving Disney, but they always seemed so...
Disneyfied.
Yeah. There was no, like Black Cauldron. I think that was the one he was working on.
Yeah.
And that was, the big studio blunder at that time.
Yeah, that flopped. Huge flop. Because they're trying something different, but it was really dark.
And they had a change of Disney heads, and they hated it, and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
So it was just a bad time for him coming into Disney as well.
Yeah.
For all good reasons, though. These things all happen for good reason.
Yeah, but then, that ended up not going so well for him.
Yeah.
But then he was able to work on some different shorts and stuff. He did Frankenweenie, the original short.
Yeah. Vincent was another one, wasn't it?
Yeah, Vincent Price. That was, one of his very first ones.
I think that was the one that really sort of got him noticed.
Yeah,
Vincent Price
it was.
One.
Yeah, that was very well done, actually. You can see his style right from the very beginning, and I guess, there with Vincent.
Yeah, and I guess that's the thing about Tim Burton, is that something that's Tim Burton when you see it.
Yeah, even though the character's about Vincent, it looks like Tim Burton, the character.
I find that with a lot of his,
like
Edward Scissorhands, for example, or, you know, he's always got those kind of characters that remind me of him. Yeah. Yeah. Extensions of him.
And then he had his first...
Pee-wee's Big Adventure. That was his first film.
First feature.
Yeah. Which I grew up watching, actually. I loved it. Yeah. Me and my brother and my mum. My mum she loved it. She used to laugh at it, and we'd hire it on video, and
it was good fun.
Loved it. It's such a good adventure film.
And it was the beginning of the collaboration between Danny Elfman and Tim Burton.
And the music in that is just Dun, 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 dun.
That really created the style.
The zaniness, when he'd wake up in his bedroom and he had that machine that would make his breakfast, and he had his dog, and his bike goes missing, and it's come on, daddy. It's just, I love that bit when he fights with that fat guy, and they have that little rivalry, and he's wrestling him in the pool and stuff like that, and it's just oh man, I love it so much.
It's a good fun one.
It was actually one of the first movies I actually was scared of, because there was that because it was that moment when Large Marge picks him up in the truck, and she's like a ghost, and has that stop motion bit. And then he gets left out in the darkness, and then you see all these animated animal eyes, and open up and stuff. That used to freak me out. Good movie. The first film that made me feel so much, Yeah.
And then a good continuation from that film.
Beetlejuice?
Beetlejuice, that was his next one.
Yeah.
I think
Michael
it's
Keaton.
gone down in infamy, that film.
It has, because like it's like a family film, but is it?
Yeah.
You know, because it's so dark, dealing with death and just everything about it is in such a dark tone.
Yeah.
Tim Burton at his best, really.
At the same time, he figures out a light-hearted way of doing it. Whimsical,
Yeah,
that's the right word. A whimsical way of approaching it.
Yeah, with this dark subject matter.
Yeah.
But still somehow pulls together a very fun time. And like he has weird creatures and designs and monsters or...
That worm thing.
The sand. And all that. And that waiting room with the shrunken head dude. And I have to watch it again. Beetlejuice is only in that film for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Who would have thought? When I'm thinking back on that movie, I thought he was like in it the whole time. And then I remember like seeing it again on TV and I was like, fuck, I haven't seen this for like 10 years.
Yeah.
And I'm like, where's Beetlejuice? You know, he's not even in this movie. Comes into it like at the last, moments. But they're supposed to be doing a remake. They had
I heard that.
for years and years they were doing Beetlejuice in Hawaii. That was like a script they'd had going around for years in the 90s and stuff. And that was supposed to get made, but
Yeah, my thoughts are is that it's the kind of film that only could have been made by Tim Burton at that time.
Yeah.
I can't see it happening.
Wouldn't work with CGI.
No,
or modern day filmmaking.
It's the wrong kind of story, it's the wrong kind of
character,
the wrong kind of... It's right, modern technology wouldn't do it justice.
No. You'd almost have to ape that same style. Like a Netflix movie, like the new Dark Crystal, where you're kind of incorporating all those old techniques with new. But even then, it just wouldn't feel right.
The story, I think, was said and done, and that's where it should stay.
Yeah.
Trying to just create another one to make money out of it, I can't see it working.
Nah. And that's pretty much the same with all Tim Burton films.
Yeah.
Well, I find they're all standalone.
He's not very good at sequels. He's really good at creating a nice, well-rounded piece. Flaws and all, that's it.
Yeah.
Enjoy yourself and go home. Yeah. And that's what he's good at.
Yeah.
These prolonged, huge sequel franchises, that's not really his thing.
It shouldn't be, because you only want to dip into his world, those films, like, you don't want to sort of, like, keep going further down that rabbit hole.
Right, yeah.
You're kind of happy to kind of dip in and dip out, and that's enough.
That's his style. It's all about just enjoying it at that moment, and then finishing off and going back on with your life.
You almost have this, like, out-of-body experience with his films.
That's right. It's like taking drugs.
Yeah, it's very psychedelic. And,
it is.
You can be, like... a drug taker or not, and you still getting the same effect.
Yeah.
Because it makes you feel like you've taken drugs.
And I guess that leads well onto the next film.
One of the biggest films of the 80s.
Huge. Which was I think probably his only sequel that he actually did.
Well, Batman.
Batman and Batman Returns. So he started off with Batman, which really took the world by storm. Going in a different way of telling, I guess, superhero films. Because before then, it was all like campy and just ridiculous.
It was like Superman or nothing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Superman 1, maybe 2, were serious. Every other superhero thing from, was just campy. And
I think they had like a musical Batman, something that was weird.
I don't even know. I mean, I know they had Roger Corman like doing his Marvel movies, which are and straight to TV Spider-Man Italian movies, all this weird stuff like that. I remember Hawkman, but anyway, Batman. Like to think that he was selected by John Peters or whoever, Warner Brothers, and said, "Oh, he'd be a good fit for Batman because he does dark well. Like he has this dark world that he makes, and Batman Gotham would be a perfect fit for that."
Yeah, the film got attacked when it came out for being really dark. Everyone it is so dark.
I can't even see what's going on.
And it's like, everyone's complained about how dark it is.
Tone and visually. Yeah.
But now we look at it today, looking back at it,
now it's colourful.
It's just very colourful. You're right.
Comic-y.
That's the right word for it.
Yeah.
Like,
when you compare it
to how dark things are now.
Like Zack Snyder's or Christopher Nolan's, and it's very cartoony and comic booky, and it really set the tone for the Batman animated series.
Yeah,
is probably still the most definitive version of Batman in film or TV.
Yeah,
I think the animated series just is the most perfect rendition of Batman out of everything, out of every media. Maybe the Arkham games comes close, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As like a well-depicted Gotham and Batman and all the characters and villains and all that sort of stuff done right. Because Nolan's is good, but too much sense of reality gets into those movies and it kind of ruins the Gotham and the whole fantasticalness of Batman.
Yeah.
So I think there's a middle ground somewhere, and Tim Burton definitely falls on the zanier side of it all, the cartoony side, which is cool because it's a transition from the old Batman, which was like very, you know, the campy Adam West TV and all that. So it was like a transition from that just to go, okay, this is something new. It's dark, it's brooding, but it's colourful, fun, and ultimately not really Batman, because Batman's hardly in it. Like Beetlejuice, he's hardly in it. You know, you get more Bruce Wayne and you get more Joker than you do Batman in that film.
Yeah, yep. We'll start to see a trend as we go through these, that he seems to do one for the studio and one for him.
Yeah.
And so we just had the studio one, we had the Batman one.
Yep.
Move on to Edward Scissorhands.
Yeah.
Now this one is probably one of my favourite.
I'd say this is...
If not the favourite.
Yeah, I'd say this is Tim Burton firing on all cylinders. All of his strengths are in this film.
Yeah. It's a film about an outsider, which he's really good at. You know, an outsider that has issues in life and things he has to deal with. Yeah. In his case, it's not metaphorical; it's physical. He's got scissors for hands, and he can't talk either. So it's the expression all the way through. You know, he's the physical behaviour of the characters, and that's a very hard thing to do.
And this sort of begins the collaboration between him and Johnny Depp too. And he does have a lot of recurring actors that he'll frequently use. Vincent. He's in this film. He's the one that the professor. It's just like, this is like Tim Burton's blood or his DNA on film, really, isn't it? Snow as well.
That's it.
The neighborhood, you know, with all the colors and the, you know, the art direction and the in the costumes and everything about it. The music, Danny Elfman's music.
Even down to the cars are choreographed to like drive at the same time, the same way. It's
the world is built there.
It's just perfect.
Yeah.
It's trying to create that picture perfect
suburb.
Yeah. The idea of it looks so perfect, but is it? And that's kind of a reflection on Tim Burton growing up. You know, everything would be tried to be painted as so perfect, and you know, life is so amazing.
Yep.
Then you look, you know, a bit closer, and then the cracks start to show.
Yeah. What's happening underneath?
Yeah.
What's beyond the veil?
And we start to see all the personalities of all the different people in the neighbourhood and how they react to an outsider, someone different.
Yeah. You got the door-to-door makeup. You know, she's the one that takes him in. She's doing the door-to-door makeup stuff.
Yeah.
Good sort of, you know, commentary on society as well in that film, and just the craziness of, you know, the haves and have-nots, and, you know, what's your neighbour up to, and living in a suburban life. Yeah, and what happens when an outsider comes in and really shakes up a small town or a suburb, you know. I think it's his most solid film for those reasons.
It's very well made, well-rounded, great characters, amazing characters. That was the biggest draw. And good
casting, like Johnny Depp. Winona Ryder, Diane West. She's in Lost Boys as well. Plays the mum in that, and she's got such a warmth to her roles. She brings this genuine motherly, you know, and you just can't help but love her, you know, because she just wins you over.
Especially like that first scene when she walks into the building and then. She can't quite see
That's
Edward Scissorhands, and he walks in.
She's like, "Come out of the
and then there he is with his scissors, and she doesn't know how to react, but she does it in a very placid, peaceful way,
in an earnest kind of way. Yeah. How could you not like that film? Like, it's like if you don't feel anything while watching that, you're either dead or you don't have a heart or soul.
You watch too many Marvel films.
Yeah.
Probably my favourite out of them all.
And that's 1990, and that sort of really set up the 90s well, I think, because that's like... You think about all the films that came out in the 90s, and particularly the early 90s, that one, you know, like you have all these new directors coming out, Quentin Tarantino with Reservoir Dogs, you had, you know, heaps, and these new directors with visions. Rob Zemeckis coming out with Forrest Gump, you know, you had Coen Brothers coming out with their stuff, you had all this cool 90s stuff happening, but Tim Burton was just something else, really. An original voice. Yeah.
I guess they pulled him back in for Batman Returns.
Yeah, he didn't want to do a sequel.
With the Penguin.
He really didn't want to do this. Yeah. And they said, well, you can do whatever you like. I don't know if he said that. I just want, you know, it's either I do what I want or nothing. Yeah. And they're like, all right, just do what you want. And what we get is one of the most twisted superhero movies, you know, ever. Like, you know, it's a movie about a deformed kid that gets thrown away by his parents. One of them both of those parents are played by Pee Wee Herman, and the woman Pee Wee Herman goes up in the T-Rex with, so they're both from Pee Wee Herman.
Yeah.
So they ditch this penguin disfigured looking baby into the river, and then he grows up in the sewers being raised by penguins to become this nasty black oozing out of his mouth, grunting, disgusting creature of a character. And yeah, it's the most grotesque thing I think I've ever been put in a superhero movie. And I used to watch it without even thinking twice, to be honest. Yeah. Like, it just was another Batman for me when I was growing up. And I was like, okay, whatever. Yeah, cool. Penguin, yeah, whatever. Catwoman. Michelle Pfeiffer, she's fucking hot in this movie. Yeah. You know? Still the best Catwoman, I think. But yeah, I mean, you got Christopher Walken in there. You got all sorts going on in that film. But once again, Batman's hardly in it. You know, it's more about Penguin and more about Catwoman than it is about Batman.
Yep. What are your thoughts of it as a sequel?
As a sequel, it's so tough because back in the day I liked it as a sequel, but as time has gone on, it just keeps dropping because it's almost like it's hard to watch. But I really appreciate how different it is. It's just wacky as hell. And it is very cartoony. One of the most darkest cartoons I've ever, seen. Yeah. But it is what it is. And it's very interesting on those levels as well. So you can sort of take it from different, depending on how you're feeling at the time.
I think the biggest thing is that it almost feels like a completely different story to the first one almost.
Oh, absolutely. Like Gotham even feels so different.
And that's my biggest issue, that yes, it's a sequel, but it doesn't really feel like a sequel, and that's kind of where I sit with it. Is that it clearly tells that Tim Burton is not interested in doing sequels,
or Batman,
or Batman. He's not interested in
doing what he does best. Outsiders.
And he doesn't like to reuse things.
There's no real continuity between the two films apart from Michael Keaton and Alfred.
Yeah.
Everything, and I think the only other one's Harvey Dent, played by Billy D. Williams, who's Lando in the original Star Wars trilogy. Yeah. And he was meant to go on to become Two-Face in the third film, which was going to be done by Tim Burton as well. But then they had a falling out, and Joel Schumacher came in to take over.
Didn't they piss off McDonald's or someone?
Oh, yeah, McDonald's had a deal with them to do the toys, the Happy Meal toys. Just them seeing the film and seeing Penguin biting a reporter's nose, black goo coming out of his mouth. He's highly sexual. He's
it's not
creeping
onto
not
a kids thing.
Creeping onto Catwoman and all the other females in it, and just grunting. He's just disgusting. Yeah. And that's supposed to be a kids' film. Yeah. You know, no. So that destroyed that relationship. Yeah. So like, shit, we need to make toys and merchandising off Batman. We need to get rid of Tim and put someone in that's gonna make it more merchandisable and
Before we move on to his next film he directed, he also filmed that he produced, he didn't direct, Nightmare Before Christmas. Notable. Yeah. It's very notable.
Jack Skellington.
I guess for people of our generation.
Yeah, this was amazing. When this came out on video, I always thought Tim Burton directed it when I was a kid.
Yeah, everyone
did.
Yeah. The film was directed by Henry Selick. So he's done things like Coraline, Monkey Bone, James and Giant Peach. He's got a very specific style.
He's sort of dark with his animations as well.
Yeah. It's a similar style, but it's still slightly different. He's got his own
he does
twist to it. That was Tim Burton's idea, and that was sitting in Disney for ages.
Right.
Years. He worked on it while he was at Disney. And and so he came back to Disney and said, "You've got a story that I want to create."
Right.
And that's how that happened. And then that film actually, no one liked that film when it came out. Yeah, well, the studio didn't like it. No one had faith in it.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me because it's so dark and twisted.
Yeah, it was like one of those slow burners that over time it grows, gets momentum. Now it's huge. Like Disney, merchandise the shit out of that film.
Yeah.
But when it started, it was a flop. It was seen as a flop.
And I remember hiring it on video and going home, watching it. I would have been, a kid. 8 years old or something, I don't know. And as soon as it finished, I literally rewound it, watched it again, and I think I did that one more time. 3 times in a row, I watched it one night, That's how good it was, and I've never done that with another film. Yeah. Ever. That's the only film I've ever done that with. And, more than once. I did it 3 times. I was just so captivated by it. The animation, the Danny Elfman's
the style, the characters,
the songs even.
songs,
I don't like musicals. I
Yeah.
go on record. It's like I don't like musicals, but that I was
This is
just
Halloween.
well, yeah, Halloween. Everybody, no. Every song in it was awesome, and I loved the Boogeyman.
It was just a great concept.
Yeah.
To mix the two holidays.
Oh, and then he goes, and even him just going where the trees are with all the different holidays, and just in your mind would just run with that.
That's it. It's like, what if I walk down the Easter one?
Yeah, Thanksgiving.
It's the kind of idea that we would think of playing as kids.
Fully. It's just
do that as kids. We'll run around. Oh, I'm in Easterland now.
Oh.
Easter Bunny's here with me.
Yeah, it was sick. And then him going into the Christmas and seeing Santa and all the elves and all that sort of thing, and then him like opening up as a character and being all I'm
surprised they haven't made like a TV show of that, because there's so many.
Oh, I'm so surprised they haven't done a sequel.
You could go down any of those. There's so many stories. It's unlimited. It's like the Doctor Who of children's films.
It is. It's really weird. I'm surprised they just haven't even revisited that on any level. It is quite strange.
I would have thought they'd at least do like a bigger TV show or some shit.
And it's such a dark setting though for a kids thing.
But
I'm surprised it worked, and I'm surprised.
So, wow.
I'm just surprised that we can watch something so dark, but we're cool with it.
Yeah.
You
They
know?
shoot him out of the sky, for God's sake.
Yeah, when he's in the sleigh and stuff. And his Zero, his ghost dog, and
what's great is the artistic decision not to show any faces of adults.
Yeah,
you don't see a single adult's face.
That's right.
It's all from like the shoulders down.
Yeah.
It's all from the kid's point of view.
Yeah, which is
perfect.
awesome.
That's what it's meant to be. That's the idea.
Oh, it's great. And even the tragedy of the the female doll, her limbs keep coming off and stitch them on, and just that professor that's like keeping her from the world, and it's so nasty and just, but so nicely done.
He's a horrible character in a lovable way.
Yeah, and the design of him too. It's like his brain keeps popping out, and the Boogeyman as well. I'm the Boogeyman, That song's cool, and those kids as well.
The end, like when he unravels, and it's just like
all these worms and stuff. It's just brilliant. And how good's the animation? The clay.
Back then, that was like the top of the game for that kind of animation.
It was insane.
And it's nice that we've got other studios
like Leica
that are still doing it,
carrying on that torch.
And then that's their thing, and they're going to stick with it. Which is
hopefully
nice.
they can stick with it, because I know their films are almost dropping. And one of the guys at Nike, his son is the guy that sort of runs that company. I'm sure a bit of money behind them, but if they keep coming out with movies that keep getting flops, how long are they going to be around for?
I know, it's sad because they had a great start. They had
Coraline, Paranorman. I've got them on Blu-ray. Box Trolls, Paranorman, Kubo, and then Missing Link. Big time flop.
I haven't seen it.
I watched it.
What were your thoughts?
I liked it.
Yeah?
Yeah. It's simple.
Do you think it deserved the flop that it got? Or?
Nah. It's just because it's up against... And I think the poster and the marketing for it wasn't strong.
Yeah.
And the story's not necessarily great, but it's just... It's still really... It's just a decent film.
But I mean, if you can compare it to things like...
Kicks the shit out of Emoji Movie or anything.
Yep.
Or any of those cheap CGI films. It's so much better. It has heart. And it has style.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They do have a style, and their animation is fucking beautiful.
It's almost getting to that point now, though, where it's like... I can't even see that as clay anymore because it's that good.
A lot of people don't know.
Yeah.
If they're not...
It feels like...
They don't understand animation. They just think it's just like any other film.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. They don't see that the weeks and weeks of frame by frame animation that goes into it.
Stop
all
motion.
These animators that see the craft and they understand the animation. And you can't stuff up a single frame because you have to start again from scratch.
Oh, man.
But moving on from animation, back onto Tim Burton's films.
Getting back into his films again. Well, Ed Wood, yeah?
Ed Wood.
Have you seen Ed Wood?
Yeah, the very arty one, very different.
Yeah, black and white.
Yeah, the critics loved it, audience hated it.
Yeah, I can see why. Because you're thinking, Johnny Depp pairing again after Edward Scissorhands. You're probably going to be expecting something more like that. Fantastical. It is fantastical, but it's about Ed Wood.
Yeah.
the Z-grade director.
It's a character who believes, he's so passionate about his film ideas.
Yeah.
This is going to be the next best thing.
He was definitely a character.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, whatever's been taken out of context or created to create this film, you know, whether what's fact or not, you know, it just creates this wonderful backdrop for a Tim Burton film that could be based in a kind of reality.
Yeah.
But Ed Wood, it's almost from his viewpoint as well. And, oh man, like...
And that's what's nice about this. It's a nice change for Tim Burton, that he's not relying on the whole fantastical themes.
Backdrop.
It's a story that could have been told by anyone, any director. But he's able to make it still his own. He
embellishes it with these Tim Burton flourishes, especially starting credits with the music. It's all very... and it's all very, you know, fantastical, gothic. You got Martin Landau playing Bela Lugosi and Sarah Jessica Parker, Patricia Arquette, Bill Murray, Jeffrey Jones, you know, Vincent D'Onofrio. Martin Landau playing Bela Lugosi. He won an Academy Award for that, Best Supporting Actor, and deservedly so, because he is just magnificent in that film. And
this was one of the few that the music wasn't by Danny Elfman.
Isn't it?
No. I think there's one film he didn't do, and this was it. He had a falling out.
Yeah, Howard Shore. He'd end up doing, I think, Lord of the Rings and stuff. But even that starting credit song, it does sound like Danny Elfman, which is crazy.
Yeah, even though it wasn't.
Yeah, I was thinking it is Danny Elfman, but you're right. Yeah, Howard Shore. And, wow. Yeah, no, this is like... probably one of the first black and white movies I saw where I was like, I love black and white film. Yeah,
and Tim Burton said he said the issue with that film is that it was black and white, and that's looking back on it, he reflects on it and says, you know, it's a big ask for people to sort of accept like a fully black and white film and
with a twisted character.
Yeah, with a character. It's a very different kind of film, and a lot of people struggle with it.
A cross-dressing.
But,
character.
Crazy character.
You know, like a lot of straight people would find it difficult to kind of...
Especially back in 1994.
Oh, yeah. For me, that and Edward Scissorhands, back to back, both because they're both very different, but both good sides of Tim Burton. I give them top marks, you know.
Unfortunately, it was a flop.
Yeah, but not critically. Because it won the Academy Award and was very respected, you know, for most part.
But you know, apart from that, it didn't make that much money. So,
which is fine. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, studios aren't. It definitely did win a lot of awards, and the reviews are pretty high. So but then he went on to his next big
fluffy,
Hollywoody,
his big fluff film,
Mars Attacks.
I still looked at the pictures.
Did you?
Yeah, wow. I remember it was a school night.
Wow.
And Dad, we went at like late. We didn't get out till, you know, after 10 probably. And this was a school night. Yeah, and I loved it. I was obsessed with it. Like,
It's great.
Jack Black's in it. Sarah Jessica Parker again. You got Jack Nicholson playing multiple roles in it. You know, you've got Pierce Brosnan, who was Bond at the time. Annette Bening, Glenn Close, Danny DeVito, Martin Short, Michael J. Fox, Rod Steiger, Tom Jones, Lucas Haas, Natalie Portman. I'm just going to be here all day listing actors, but that goes to show the caliber in it.
It's definitely for the time, for the day, it was a very big Hollywood blockbuster kind of film, even though it wasn't trying to be all full serious, and the effects weren't trying to be more than they were. It was
it's because it was based on like bubblegum cards or something.
Yep.
You know, and that's what it feels like. It's got that very bubblegummy, playful quality to it.
Yeah, sugary.
Very sugary, but yeah, you know, it's a film one of its kind, especially for that time. You know, I love it. It's great.
Yeah, no, it's fun play on like
the whole alien thing, Hollywood.
It's a light-hearted take, and I remember there's a few people who didn't like how it was very, lack of a better word, campy.
Yeah, that's the point.
Yeah, that, you know, you have to kind of embrace that.
And I remember like watching it because you'd have like, it was so campy, but then some of the deaths in it are so brutal as well. And then, you know, you got Pierce Brosnan's head and Sarah Jessica Parker's head getting removed and put on a dog's body. And you Yeah, crazy
It
film.
was a fun one.
It was
I
fun.
enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Much so.
Yeah. And then he followed that up with
Sleepy Hollow.
Sleepy Hollow.
Back to Dark.
Back to Dark. Very dark. Back with Johnny Depp again.
Mm-hmm.
And this has got a great supporting cast in it. Like, you've got some of the most fantastic English actors, as well as, you know, you got Ian McDermott, who plays Emperor Palpatine. You got Richard Griffiths from Harry Potter, and, you know, with Nail and I. You got Jeffrey Jones again. You got Michael Gambon, you know, who plays Dumbledore in Harry Potter as well. You know, Emperor Palpatine from Star Wars. We've got Michael Gough returning from Batman. Christopher Walken playing the headless horseman, you know. Yeah, that was kind of freaky. Christopher Lee, you know, you've got just this cast, and it just kind of speaks for itself. Yeah. I mean, the film, when I watched it I think last year, and I went through a big phase of being turned off this film. Mm-hmm. Like, I loved it when it first came out, and then I sort of, when I revisited it again, I was like, oh, this movie's not as good as I remember, you know, and I kind of didn't like it. And then I rewatched it again, and I was like, no, I actually really like this film. You know, I think after having so many crappy Tim Burton ones of recent, I sort of went back and really started to appreciate that era. I think the problem with it, though, is that I feel like it skims over a lot too quickly. And because it's such a detailed environment and world, I kind of wanted to spend longer with these characters.
And it's quite an old urban legend that's based on.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a bit of...
Yeah, and Christina Ricci's in it as well. She was in Casper?
Yeah, she was,
Yeah. So you got that gothic cast in there as well, which, you know, it's very Tim Burton. And then after that, this is a weird phase.
Back to the Hollywood blockbuster. One for him, one for them.
Yeah.
This was the revamp of Planet of the Apes.
No, well, the issue I have with it is mainly the tone. It's good that he did something different and it didn't just ape, sorry for the pun, the original. It did something new, and it wasn't monkeying around, throwing another pop. No, but, you know, I would have preferred to have Johnny Depp in it rather than Mark Wahlberg, you know?
The thing is, this film, it felt like it was done by any director.
Yeah.
There was no Tim Burton in it.
No, I had a few moments of like, okay, I could kind of see that as a Tim Burton thing, like the starting credits and just the sort of slightly darkness here and there. But cringy.
And I've looked into the story of this one. This was a case of executives getting in the way.
Okay, seems like it. They probably would have insisted on Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah.
And half the cast.
And I think it turned him off a lot of like working with a lot of studio execs.
Quite funny because like I think he had a lot of trouble on Batman, but ultimately won out with his kind of vision in the end. But this one, like we were saying, just doesn't feel like his vision.
That's right.
I like the ape prosthetics in it and stuff like that. I think that's really cool. Like, it's got some.
Technically, it was done well.
Yeah, it's got some good stuff in it, but overall, oh god, I hate this talking humans in it, and you know, Chris Christopherson and his daughter is like looks like a supermodel, even though she's a cave woman. You know what I mean? It's just like it just doesn't ring true. You know, and you compare it to the original Planet of the Apes, and it's like, what happened? Tim Roth playing the baddie, you know, not a bad performance, you know, but cheesy.
It's kind of like the forgotten. Like we got the new Planet of the Apes story, which is great.
They just worked so much better in the end.
They're brilliant.
Yeah.
You know? And you got the original, and then you got this one.
This one's just kind of like the forgotten one.
Yeah.
The non-talked about one.
That's kind of what they're trying to do.
The best thing in it is probably the starting song by Danny Elfman. He does this awesome song, you know, for the starting credits. Mm-hmm. And after that, it's all downhill.
And then from there, he had his mini series. I remember watching World of Stameboy.
I didn't watch that.
Oh, you didn't? Yeah.
No, was that good?
It's pretty good. I think they were running them back at Acme in Melbourne. So in Melbourne, we've got what's known as Acme, which is Australian Centre of the Moving Image, which is basically, it's kind of like a museum, but it's all about film and games. Basically, it's all about anything to do with the screen
animation.
And interacting with screens and all that kind of stuff. That's what it's about, and we've had it for a while now. They're actually revamping it at the moment. But a little while ago, I say a little while ago, I think it's been 10 years or 9 years now, we had a Tim Burton exhibition, and they were running, like, those shorts were running there and a few other things.
I think it's come out again. you know, after that as well.
Yeah,
like I've had it there
yeah.
a couple times.
But I remember they flew Tim Burton down and he had a big interview and stuff like that. And
Very cool.
It's very cool. If you're in Melbourne or
Disney,
Australia, it's
yeah.
definitely a place to go.
Yeah.
We've had Disney, we've had
Pixar.
DreamWorks, we have Pixar.
DreamWorks, yeah.
We've had lots of big ones. It's been good.
And I think it's, you know, if it's sort of in a good spot in Melbourne as well. It's sort of like in that sort of really hot
Federation
CBD
Square,
area. Yep, popular stuff.
All right, so moving back on to
The next film.
Big Fish.
I find this film hard to watch. Even though it's on his better end of films. I think I'll try tackling it again soon. But I love Ewan McGregor and Albert Finney and Billy Crudup and Jessica Lange, Helena Bonham Carter. But yeah, I mean, Albert Finney and Ewan McGregor in this is awesome. I remember that much, but I found it quite depressing at the time. I think I'm going to have to revisit this one.
Well, I watched it. I was relatively late to it. I watched it a few years after it came out. I actually really enjoyed it when I saw it. You're right, it is dark. But I guess what I liked about it was just the art direction, the art style of the whole thing, and how there's all these different mini stories all belonging to a bigger story.
Yeah.
And that story's life and the whole concept that is trying to explain. The circus scene where everything freezes is really cool. So I really like this film, but I know that it had mixed reviews.
Yeah.
So I guess you're sort of on the relatively negative side and I'm on the relatively positive side.
To be honest, I think I'm going to be in the middle when I rewatch it. I might be more positive than not.
Yeah. It's not perfect.
He's done a lot worse.
Yeah, he has done a lot worse. It's a very beautiful film. Very cinematic. Very creative some parts.
And good acting, I think, from what I remember.
Yeah. And there is a lot more substance in this than some others, which leads us on to his next attempt at a Hollywood blockbuster. Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Well, this is when I started to turn off Tim Burton in a big way.
Yep.
I was like, I've had enough now. Johnny Depp as well, I started getting turned off by. Apart from his Pirates of the Caribbean thing. Yeah, this was a big nail in the coffin for me.
Especially with Johnny Depp's acting was just creepy.
It
was just like, I don't want to be near you, mate.
Yeah. Was this film even successful? Off name alone, I'd say.
Money.
Yeah, I remember everyone at the time was just saying how messed up Johnny Depp's version is.
I think that's probably the biggest issue, that it is so creepy. And it kind of felt like the themes, there wasn't a singular theme. Like usually there is like a clear, central theme running through a Tim Burton film. This kind of felt like it was all over the place a bit.
Yeah, it didn't feel cohesive.
No, not at all.
And I didn't like most of it. Like, especially when you hold it up to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, the original.
That's the thing. Like, they tried their best for us not to compare it to the original film because it's more like an adaptation of the book.
Yeah.
But then the original film was an adaptation of the book anyway, so we're going to compare. And the first film was...
I think that's almost a perfect film.
It was. And it's not... There's certain films that shouldn't try and remake.
It's almost a Wizard of Oz level.
That's right.
Yeah. Like, you can do a sequel, like they did with Wizard of Oz, but they're not going to succeed.
No.
The same way.
They just got to... Some things you've got to leave untouched. For
the past.
Accept it for what it is.
And, I mean, it would have been better to do as a stop motion. Like James and the Giant Peach, you know, or whatever. But yeah. I don't know what Johnny Depp was thinking.
Yeah.
You know, was that a Marilyn Manson impression version? I don't know. It's like some weird, creepy ass... thing, and comparing that to the original guy who played Willy Wonka,
It's such a perfect job.
Gene Wilder. That is just one of the performances of the ages.
Yeah, there's a wide enough amount. It's like a mix of like personalities in one. Like you got the parent figure, but you also got like
the eccentric
element in it,
and the darkness.
You've got the businessman in it. It's all there. But Johnny Depp one was you're just a 2-year-old.
Creep.
You're just stuffed, man.
Yeah.
And it's like they tried to expand on his story a bit more, but if you want us to try and follow the story of Willy Wonka a bit more, you need to give us something to relate to him with, and we couldn't relate.
Yeah, couldn't even wrap my head around it.
And when he'd cut out and have those flashbacks, and he'd just freeze and be really creepy, that was just creepy again.
I'm gonna have to. I want to rewatch it just to laugh at it.
Yeah. But moving on from there, then we had...
Corpse Bride.
Which
sort of a revisit to...
Beautiful animation.
Yeah.
I think this is Leica's beginnings.
Yeah, I mean, I love the animation in it. I just didn't really get the story or the songs compared to Nightmare Before Christmas.
Christmas.
It pales in comparison for me, but I might rewatch this one as well.
It's very cinematic. It looks. It's a lot darker. It's a lot more adult, but it's very well done. Very beautiful.
I find it weird because I love Coraline and I love Nightmare Before Christmas, but I didn't like this one. So how weird's that?
Yeah, I quite liked it. When I watched it, I was like younger, so I think I need to give it,
a fair shake again.
Yeah, I think we both need to shake it out.
Yeah. I haven't seen the next one. I've seen bits. Like I've said, musicals aren't my thing.
So Sweeney Todd,
The Demon Barber of Fleet Street.
So this is again following in the dark themes.
I love the idea. I think it's based on a true story.
It is.
Yeah.
It is a true. But it's messed
killer.
up. The idea that they would
kill and turn them into pies.
Yeah.
Awesome idea.
Kill the people, turn them into pies, create a whole contraption so they go straight down into the
I love it.
cooking room.
It's brilliant. I mean, it's so dark and so twisted and...
This is based off a musical, so hence that's where all the music comes from.
This is fine. I mean, I'm more than happy about it, but it's not for me.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of people in the same boat. Like, I can stand musical, I'm not too bad with them. Some people are okay, some people aren't, and that's... It's always going to be a polarizing thing.
Yeah. I mean, I love the art decoration, the sets, everything about it's just
amazing. Yeah.
Spot on. The acting, even the singing's good. But for me, just to get invested in the story, I just want to see a straight, like a Sleepy Hollow version of it.
And it'll happen. It probably won't be by Tim Burton, but I reckon it'll happen. Like, we've seen the same thing like with Les Miserables. They've gone and made a non-musical version of that. Yeah. And that kind of happens because they want to kind of cater to that, and I think it'll happen.
I hope so. I just want to see that.
Story.
Yeah, I just want to see that, Could even do a TV show out of it, like a Netflix 10-episode thing. You know?
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And now we're moving on to the huge, giant blockbuster, probably one of his biggest films at the time.
Over $1 billion.
Over $1 billion.
Because Alice
in Wonderland.
Alice is just so, like, loved.
The biggest thing that I loved about this film was the music. I think it was probably Danny Elfman's best score.
He's almost like hitting his heights again.
He's just
because you can't deny Batman was memorable, but and he's done so many other Simpsons theme and all that. But this was like another notch in his belt. Yeah. You
listen to the music; it's just like a mix of choir, all sorts of music. It's a great sort of mix. We had an Australian lead,
Mia Wasikowska. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but she's a wonderful actress or actor. Yeah. She is so skillful, and everything she does, I think, is watchable, or worth the watch. And so young as well at that time, and she carried that film.
She did,
and she carried it.
It was again a huge Hollywood one. We had all the big names in it. Johnny Depp.
What do you think of Johnny in it? Playing the Mad Hatter as opposed to his...
This is where we started getting to the stage where he was starting to become the same.
Yeah.
All of his characters.
Like these eccentric types. Like after the Chocolate Factory, you had Sparrow, Captain Jack Sparrow.
Yeah. At the beginning, he's really good at making a character his own and standing out as that character. And there's some that kind of, you always see them as them, who they are. At the beginning, he was good at making each character his own, but then at this stage, it kind of started...
They all started feeling very samey, didn't they?
Yeah, yep.
Even though he, looked quite crazy.
Yeah, I mean, the acting is slightly different, but he starts having those tropes that
those
are
quirks.
Yeah.
When you compare it to, let's say, Ed Wood or Edward Scissorhands, or even Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah. Well, like if we think about Edward Scissorhands, the acting's all about restraint. It's all about pulling back and trying to be the basics and just showing the emotion through the face. When all these newer films are all about just being in your face and just full on and
and fully animated. Yeah, him and Helena Bonham Carter have just like been Tim Burton staples through this whole period.
Yeah. Helena Bonham Carter, and they were married for a while. Then, so they had kids and
I killed Sirius Black. Anne Hathaway playing the White Queen.
Yeah.
Then you got Matt Lucas from Little Britain fame.
Yeah, I love Matt Lucas. I want to see more stuff.
Yeah, and Crispin Glover. I love Crispin Glover.
Yeah.
Stephen Fry, Michael Sheen, Alan Rickman, rest in peace. Good actors in this film. He always gets a good selection of actors, doesn't he?
That's half the job as a director, is picking those right actors for those roles, and he's definitely good at it. It's a very ambitious film, especially for the time.
The CGI
and green screen.
Yeah.
effectively, except for the beginning and end shots.
Yep.
It was all just huge green screen.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, and it was very, very cool technology. 3D was coming in then. We had this and Avatar that came out at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
That really pushed the whole 3D technology,
Yeah.
and that kind of boosted it to like.
That's why it earned
where
over
it
$1
was
billion
big.
in that.
It's a Hollywood film, so I'm not going to praise it. Say it's like changing the universe. But
I find some of the effects in it are hit and miss though.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember when I first watched it, I was like, some parts look awesome and other parts don't. But overall, it's one of his better recent ones, I suppose.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this
Yeah, we
next
got
one.
this Passion Project,
Oh,
Dark Shadows.
It's
This
based
was-
on an old TV show, wasn't it?
Yep. This was one that he always wanted to do for years and years and years,
Oh,
and finally
I
got a chance.
like this movie. Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah, which was great because we could see Tim Burton being Tim Burton.
Firing back on all his cylinders
Yeah.
again, you know. And Johnny
Just,
Depp's awesome in this.
He was really good.
You know, him playing a vampire, perfect. He
Yeah.
can play a vampire any day of the week, you know. He's perfect for that. Michelle Pfeiffer, Ava Green, Helena Bonham Carter again, Jackie Earle Haley, John Lee Miller. And like, how's that? Like his cast, you know, Christopher Lee, Alice Cooper make appearances, but his cast is always, you know, he's got these similar types.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like the Ava Green coming in for this, but she's very similar to, you know, the Michelle Pfeiffer of the past and Helena Bonham Carter and, you know, Grace Moretz as well. They've all got this kind of pale, they're almost like vampires in real life.
Yeah.
They've almost, you know, and they
They're
can...
like outcasts.
this gothic-y, they can really pull off that really well, and they
Yeah.
fit within the Tim Burton DNA perfectly.
Yeah.
It's like they're a family, you know, and that's how it feels.
Yeah.
So yeah, this film really encapsulates that well because it is about a family.
Yeah.
It's almost like the Addams Family.
It's a very Tim Burton story. Like at the end there, when you got all the townspeople
So it's
revolting, and you've seen that.
Edward
many.
Scissorhands,
It's like
same
in
as thing.
Edward Scissorhands, and
Yeah.
it's in like Frankenweenie. There's
Yeah.
that idea has been in
The
multiple
Frankenstein thing.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah.
about the outcast and everyone shunning you from society. And he saw that when he was growing up. That was kind of like
That's how
he felt. you know?
Yeah.
That if you were weird, you were kind of outcast and
Yeah, banished or
yeah.
become a target.
That scene where Johnny Depp, you know, first comes into the modern era and you got the McDonald's, the arches, the golden arches there.
Yeah, I love
He
it. I love
obviously
it.
mended his things with McDonald's there.
Yeah, true. Yeah. No, I really think this is just Tim Burton doing what he does best.
Yeah.
You know.
But this film, a lot of people hated it.
Yeah, I can see why. Because it's not a standout film.
They marketed it as going to be like this huge, like,
Vampire
supernatural,
saga thing.
huge. And
It was very small.
yeah, like 2012, you were seeing a lot of bigger films that had a lot more
We had
money.
Twilight, you
Yeah.
know, all this sort of stuff going on. And I think, this was just sort of marketed wrong.
Yeah, it was marketed.
Yeah.
This is really like a drama.
Yeah.
Just with the supernatural theme. It's all about the people, all about the characters and what they're doing. It's
Absolutely.
not about the big werewolves and vampires and all that kind of stuff.
It does remind me a lot of the old Universal monster films, like, you know, the old ones.
That's what's inspired it from.
Yeah, it's got that in spades.
Yeah. And the same year, we saw Frankenweenie.
Yeah.
As we mentioned, this was a short film
One of his first ever...
one of his first short films that he made. And he wanted to have a crack at making it into a feature film.
What do you think of this one?
Again, animation is
Black and
great.
white too.
Yeah, it was great to see black and white stop motion animation. Like when I first saw it, being a bit younger, I was a bit worried about black and white. It's like, oh, I don't know if I can handle it. But you forget about
Within
it.
a minute, you're
Yeah,
like...
you're in it.
Yeah, you're loving it. That came out like the same time Paranorman did as well. Like it coming out with their Supernatural one.
Yeah.
And Frankenweenie as well. So they were sort of competing with each other.
The art style, the animation really supports this kind of film.
Yeah. Yeah, it's perfect for it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a good, solid animated
That's it.
film.
A lot of these animations you can't really critique too much because it's not meant to be that kind of film. It's more about a film to be celebrated with the family, and that's it.
And they're very tangible as well because of the clay. So you got this
That's right.
tangibility to them.
Moving forward, we had a big break for about 2 years, and then he did, and this is when he was really slowed down. We had a big break, and then we saw Big Eyes, which you haven't seen.
I started watching it and I turned it off.
Yeah.
Not because I was bored or anything. I think I just had a lot going on.
Weren't in the mode.
Yeah, and I was like, I got to wait till I'm in the mode for it because I love Christoph Waltz and
It is one of his better films. Very nice. It goes back down to what he does well, those characters and the drama behind it. All the actors again, amazing. Christoph Waltz, he was really good. Like he's great at those darker characters. trying to find the humanity in those characters and are trying to explain to the audience why those bad characters are thinking and feeling that way.
Yeah.
But it's based on a true story, which
Yeah.
is really good.
Yeah. It's almost like he's Ed Wood Part 2.
But again, it's another stripped down one. It's not about, like, there's a few scenes where we might have those Tim Burton-esque sequences in it, maybe with the big eyes and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
apart from that, the rest of it is pretty much typical biopic. Apart from the fact we've got these eccentric characters in it. Then we got...
Miss Peregrine's Home for the Peculiar Children. And I think that was the big problem with this film.
Can't say it.
Yeah, people
Can't
like,
say it.
you know, that movie, The Miss Penguin.
What is she? She's a pilgrim. You're a pilgrim.
Yeah. Pedestrian. Ava Green, she's wonderful. Judi Dench.
I remember being excited for this because I had just
On the
seen,
trailers looked interesting.
Yeah,
I was
like,
like,
I'd seen Big Eyes and I thought, okay, cool, he's got it going on again. And then there was a big break. There was a 2-year break between that. And then I thought, okay, here we go. Another Tim Burton. He's back. We're going to see him now. He's slowing down and he's thinking about his film. He's going to make really good ones, but
didn't quite.
no, it was a miss for me, unfortunately. No.
I felt there's, you know, it's like Dark Shadows as well.
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me of like another similar sort of approach,
Yeah.
but just far less interesting.
Yeah.
I like some of the stuff in it, and I love Ava Green. For the subject matter, it's very dull.
I mean, it could have been like it was an attempt to create a new franchise, really. And Tim Burton's not good at that. Trying to create these franchises.
I didn't even realise it was going to be a franchise.
Well, yes. Well, I mean, it's based on all these different books. So
Right. Once again, probably would work better as an animation.
I don't know if it's what it is. But it just it didn't seem to work.
Something was missing.
You're right.
I don't know if it was Johnny Depp.
Put Johnny Depp in.
Dressed up as Ava Green.
He could have been the kid.
Yeah.
But like the art direction's fine in it.
Yeah.
The characters are fine in it.
I just found it a bit lacking.
Yeah,
in those
it is.
departments.
I was all excited. I was so excited, and then halfway through the film, I thought, oh, okay, here we go.
Yeah, like it starts off kind of intriguing, and then I just remember
the
falling.
concept's interesting.
And then it just falls flat on its ass like halfway through, and I was just bored for the rest of it.
Yeah,
And I kind of tuned out.
yeah. I think that's unfortunately the same with me.
And my partner, she enjoyed it.
Yeah.
She's like, I want to watch it again. I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I'll give it another go.
Well, that brings us to Dumbo, which you're going to have to comment on this because I haven't seen it yet.
Well, I love the old Dumbo cartoon. It haunted me for many years. And I love a lot of parts in that original cartoon, you know, the pink elephant scene. And, just him losing his mum was horrible.
It was the worst.
Oh, my God.
The
Talk
original
about,
was...
Yeah,
tough.
talk about
Yeah.
scarring children.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that and Bambi.
Yeah.
But yeah, shit. I mean, it's good to see Michael Keaton coming back and Danny DeVito. Colin Farrell's in this. But jeez,
Yeah.
I hated the Dumbo CGI elephant. I turned it off.
Yeah, okay.
My partner who would watch these usually, she wasn't getting into it.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is just drab.
Yeah.
One word, drab.
Unfortunately, I listened to too many of the reviews on it, and it's kind of turned me off, which
Yeah.
I don't like to do.
Yeah.
I try and watch it myself before I comment on them, but unfortunately, this is the one that
Beat you to it.
Yeah,
And you're like, well, fuck it.
I'll watch it.
Yeah, I will.
But I guess I got a queue of other ones that are more important to watch.
I guess I will get to it at some point just to say that I've seen it. But I tell you, like the first half an hour of it, I was just like, whatever. And also, the other thing about it is there's too much Disney shit going on. So, like, you know, squished together, we had Aladdin, Dumbo, Lion King, you know, Beauty and the Beast, you know, Jungle Book. All these is coming out within a space of like, felt like 2 years.
They are very close, you're right.
And I'm just like, no, if it spaced them out, maybe I would give them more of a chance.
That's probably the thing. You're right. Like, they said, this is going to work, this is it, which is financially working for them. But I think you're right. If they had maybe one a year or one every 2 years, it'd be better than just. But what can we say? Because it's making money, and this is their one that sort of flopped. But,
I mean, it's still compared to other movies, it still made money.
Yeah, it made money.
But the amount they probably spent on marketing and everything else, it probably really didn't make
even,
that
maybe.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But moving forward,
What's he got on the back burner? What's he got happening in the works? I wonder. Is he going for a safe bet? Is he going for something that we all know?
He's going for
I know.
Beetlejuice 2. Fuck me. We just talked about not touching on this, and what's he doing?
He's going to kill it. Maybe that's his idea. It's like, I'm just going to kill all my classics now.
It was right, as we said, for that time, then and there, leave it there.
And he knew that for so many years. I don't know why.
He did. He was refusing to touch it.
Well, I'll comment on it when I see it. Because who knows, it might not even come out. Because they've been like saying this is being worked on for so many years now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, did you know he was going to direct Superman in the 90s?
Was he?
Yeah. Just a quick little Tim Burton trivia.
Okay, that would have been interesting.
Yeah. Guess who he had playing Superman? Not Johnny Depp, Nicolas Cage.
Nicolas Cage?
He had a black Superman outfit. They were, as far as pre-production was done, they were about to start filming.
I think I've heard this actually.
Yeah.
This story. That's right, they did, yeah.
And John Peters, who produced the first, Batman and Michael Keaton, he ended up, this guy's nuts. And this guy had the most wackiest ideas. He's like, okay, Superman can't fly. He had these like 3 things he wanted to see in the film. He has to fight a giant spider in it. All this sort of stuff. And what happened was that film fell through and didn't get made. There's a documentary about it out now, which is quite interesting. Kevin Smith did a treatment of the script, or was brought in, Silent Bob. Mm-hmm. So he's talked a lot about it, so you can find a lot of information about it. And you can see a lot of the imagery and Nicolas Cage in the suit and all. It's got some cool ideas. I would have loved to have seen it, but I tell you what, it wouldn't have been Superman.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, John Peters, a crazy producer, was so adamant on this giant fucking spider that he didn't get to fit it into that film. So where did he put it? Wild Wild West. Giant spider. Yeah, because he produced that as well. Yeah. Tim Burton.
So I guess all in all, he's a director that's all about the character and all about the visuals, not so much about the story. And that's kind of why sometimes we get films that are great, Shoot in the Dark, hit gold. And other films that are just no. But apart from the story element, he seems to be able to hit gold with the visuals most times.
Yeah, he's a great visionary.
Yeah, he's kind of at the back burner of his career now. He's, back in the 90s, 2000s, he was like pushing out films everywhere. But now he's sort of slowing down. We'll sort of see where he goes from here in the future.
Yeah.
But I think it's clear to say that the golden era of Tim Burton has ended.
Oh, well and truly.
And...
I don't know when that ended. He's up and down.
Well, anyway, we'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah. Prove me wrong, Tim Burton.
Tim, mate.
Timmy.
Come and prove us wrong.
Timmy.
And come in and we'll interview you and tell us how good you are.
Well, maybe, if you're listening or watching this, maybe comment and say what's your favourite Tim Burton film and why you like it. I want to hear your some stories and thoughts.
And tell us what you completely disagree with us about.
Yeah,
Thank you.
And my pronunciation.
And we'll leave it there. Subscribe.
Like.
Make sure you watch all of our videos on YouTube.
Yeah, and all that.
You to the tubes.
And all that goody stuff.
We'll see you in the next one.
Adios. Samuel Jackson. I don't remember him being in this film.
Yeah, no, he was. Yeah,
he was?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
I gotta rewatch this.